get set.
At last, we have come to our last stop in the Sonic Girl edition, with a character who needs no introduction. She is the fiery and ever elegant Blaze the Cat. Blaze the Cat comes from another world known as the Soul Dimension. This name is derived from the emeralds in her world known as the Soul Emeralds. In Blaze's world, not only is she the guardian of the Soul Emeralds, but she is also a princess, born into a royal family that has guarded a mystical artifact known as the Jeweled Scepter for generations. Since the day she was born, Blaze has inherited the power of pyrokinesis, giving her the ability to manipulate and create fire at will, a power she has looked upon not as a gift, but as a curse, due to how harsh life was growing up, because other children teased her due to her lack of ability to control her powers. Thus, when she became guardian of the Soul Emeralds, she isolated herself from the rest of the world, making her the self-reliant, antisocial, and sometimes withdrawn character we know her as today. Blaze makes her original debut in the Archie comic series of Sonic Universe, issue 55. As a video game character, she has made numerous appearances and cameos, making her debut appearance in 2005's Sonic Rush. In Sonic Rush, the player takes control of either Sonic the Hedgehog or Blaze the Cat herself from their own storylines. This storyline takes place when Blaze's dimension and Sonic's dimension crosses streams with each other. While Sonic is dealing with the Eggman from Blaze's dimension, Blaze runs into trouble from the Eggman of Sonic's world. In Sonic Rush, Eggman travels to Blaze's dimension and steals the Soul Emeralds. The Soul Emeralds responded and summoned Blaze to Sonic's dimension. Blaze wakes up and finds herself in a strange new world, only to soon after remember what happened. As guardian of the Soul Emeralds, Blaze would immediately make it her mission to chase Eggman down and get the Soul Emeralds back. And she had to do it fast, because the Soul Emeralds and the Chaos Emeralds coexisting in the same dimension was threatening to destroy both her world and Sonic's world. After making her way through the Carnival Zone, Blaze would finally catch up with Eggman and insist that he gives back the Soul Emeralds. But of course, we should expect nothing different from Eggman, who refused to give them back. Soon after the confrontational battle between Eggman and Blaze, Blaze would knock Eggman into orbit, causing him to drop one of the emeralds.
You'll regret this.
Shortly after, Blaze meets Cream, who has no problem talking to strangers, and that overly friendliness boggles the mind of Blaze, who is a character who generally keeps to herself. After Blaze finally tells Cream her name, she soon after invites her to her home, despite a little hesitation from Blaze, of course. It's here Blaze meets Cream's mother, Vanilla, and despite Blaze's wishes, Vanilla insists that she stays for tea, where Blaze tells her where she's from and the Soul Emeralds. She is soon first suggested by Cream and Vanilla to go track down Sonic to help her. However, Blaze, wanting to take on the burden herself, refuses the offer. Vanilla will soon also suggest that Cream goes with her, and even though Blaze didn't want Cream's help, Cream still wanted to help Blaze because that's what friends do. After Blaze caught up with Eggman and defeated him once again, Sonic showed up on the scene, where him and Blaze had their first brief encounter with each other. With no words exchanged between the two, after she collected her second Soul Emerald, she immediately fled to go search for the third. After tracking Eggman down yet again at Mirage Road,
You'll regret this.
and a not-so-first friendly meeting with Knuckles, Blaze has no choice but to bury the hostile Echidna under rubble, but not before she was given advice to go see Sonic yet again. Yet, still determined to do things on her own, her and Cream make their way to Water Palace. 2 more Eggman beatdowns and 2 more Soul Emeralds later, Blaze and Sonic finally come face to face with each other. After introducing themselves to one another, like always, Blaze immediately tries to take the full responsibility herself, to which Sonic tells her he disagrees and tells her that's not how it works. But even with the threat threatening to tear both worlds apart, Blaze still refuses to seek the help of Sonic, and heads off to go get the last 2 Soul Emeralds back. After getting back Soul Emerald number 6, Blaze and Cream soon run into Amy, who tries to relay a message back that Sonic was looking for them. But Blaze, still hell-bent to her ways, informs Amy that she already has 6 of the Soul Emeralds and that she doesn't need Sonic's help. But Amy gives Blaze the advice that she's been hearing all day. Sometimes you can't do everything on your own, and sometimes you just need to ask for help. But even with all that advice going into what is supposed to be her final confrontation with Eggman, when Sonic shows up to the battle, Blaze would demand that he steps aside, and when Sonic wouldn't go, a fight would break out between the two. Depending on whose storyline you're playing as is the one that wins the fight, and when you play as Blaze, Sonic is hurled off the platform, where soon after, Blaze goes after Eggman and finally takes back the final Soul Emerald. Afterwards, Blaze and Sonic reconcile with each other. She still doesn't entirely understand friendship or the meaning of help, but with a few encouraging words from Sonic, Blaze finally learned to loosen up and changed her ways. From then on out, the two finally began to start working with each other. Later on, even though the world disruption had stopped, the damage, however, had not been reversed. Blaze soon finds herself in a fight with both Eggmans, but eventually loses and the Soul Emeralds have their powers drained. Because Blaze isolated herself from the rest of the world, she never learned how to fully control the power of the Soul Emeralds. But thanks to Sonic, Cream, and the others teaching her about friendship and encouragement, Blaze finally learned the secret to fully tap into the power of the Soul Emeralds. Leading up to the final battle with both Eggmans, Blaze would finally tap into the full power of the Soul Emeralds and unlock her super form, Burning Blaze. This makes Blaze the first ever Sonic girl to ever have a super form. After teaming up and going to battle with the Eggmans,
How is that?
in the final climax, Blaze and Sonic would combine their powers together and put a stop to Eggman and Eggman Nega. After the battle and things began going back to normal, Sonic and Blaze said their temporary goodbyes to each other, but not before a farewell handshake. They will soon find themselves being pulled apart by their own dimensions, taking them both back to their rightful worlds. This time around, Blaze goes back to her own dimension, with a better understanding of her role as Guardian, and a better understanding of her powers, and vowing to see her newfound friends again someday. Unfortunately for poor little Cream, she didn't get to say goodbye to her new friend. However, Sonic would cheer her up with some good news, and lets her know that Blaze will be back one day. Until then, she'll just have something to look forward to. This has been Furry Girl Profile's Blaze the Cat. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, and remember to subscribe for future videos. And we'll see you right here again on Playfur Cinema.